What up, Dokkanners? With the worldwide download part 1 celebration having been around now for about a week and a half, a lot of you guys are probably wondering, with all the content pretty much being done at this point, what is next? Now that we've done the dual Dokkan Festival EZAs, there is nothing left on the docket to do, so is it over? Do we have more stuff coming up? Obviously we do. So today's video is going to be discussing when we can expect part 2 to begin. We don't know for sure, but there are some major clues that we've got in the campaign details itself, plus last year as precedent, to figure out when part 2 is going to be starting. So for those of you who are eagerly waiting for more stuff, you're probably still going to have to wait a little bit because we're not quite there yet, but we're getting close. So for those of you who want that answer, that is what this video is all about. So let's jump in. Let's start by taking a look at the dates from last year. Now, the general rule when it comes to Dokkan festivals and celebrations is it's typically a 2-week window. Now, all of this could change in a couple of months with the merger coming up because Dokkan might have to accelerate things for global, JP might have to slow down. So for right now, the rule still applies because we're still in the worldwide download celebration. The merger will not be taking effect during this, I would imagine. So that being said, 2 weeks still applies, 2-week rule. So as long as the celebrations are around like 13, 14, 15, 16 days, that pretty much holds true. So if we go back to last year, the start of the worldwide download last year was August 25th at 5 p.m. Then if we go to part 2, start date was September 9th at 11 p.m. And in terms of time zone, this is all in reference to my own specific time zone. In the grand scheme of things, this doesn't really matter for the sake of this video because as long as I'm consistent with the time zone, everything is the same. Like, you know, if we were doing this from, I don't know, Germany, if the time zone was in the Germany time zone, then it would all be exactly the same. It would just be consistent over there. So it doesn't matter. The point is we're talking about the actual intervals, the dates. So September 8th, 11 p.m. was my start date for part 2. And then part 3 was September 21st at 11 p.m. PDT. So with those 3 dates, that pretty much gives us an idea for when part 2 and 3 will start. Now, if you're wondering, if you do the math from September 8th to the 21st, that's about 13 days. So little on the underside in terms of the 2-week interval, but still 13 days. That's within the window that I was talking about, right? And then if we count from the 25th until the 8th, I think that's like 15 days, 14 days, something like that. So pretty much consistent. So that also gives you your answers. So pretty much take the start of the worldwide download celebration this year and just add 2 weeks. So add 15 days to this. You're probably looking at the 9th, the 8th, the 7th, something around there. That pretty much tells you what you need to know. But if you want something a little bit more precise, we will then take this further by looking into a major clue that they provided last year and they also provided this year, and that is the SNS social media campaign. So we had last year 6 posts that we had to make. Well, we didn't have to, but if you did it, you got stones for it. You got 2 stones per post, yielding 12 after all 6 were done. So with 6 of these posts and with only 3 parts during a celebration, you would think that they would basically divide this up evenly. So what they basically did was they made post 1 and 2 happen during part 1. Part 2 gave us 3 and 4, and then part 3 gave us 5 and 6. Because naturally, with each one being roughly 2 weeks, makes the most sense to give each week its own post. And that's exactly what happened. So part 1 got August 25th at 11 p.m., August 30th at 11 p.m., and then part 2 gave us this. So this is the major clue that we use to look at this year's dates. So if we look at how this played out this year, this pretty much tells us what we need to know. August 24th, 11 p.m. PDT. Not exactly when the worldwide download celebration started, but a little bit afterwards, within the ballpark. That was part 1. We've already come across the second post, right? August 31st is when it started, so you guys probably saw the little horn thing on your games. You've probably already taken care of that. The next time that is going to be popping up is going to be September 7th at 11 p.m. PDT. Why is that important? Because that is probably when part 2 is going to be starting. So what I did was I looked back at last year and I basically transposed those dates and put it side by side with this year. And everything that is not having an asterisk next to it is basically stuff that we already know. Things that have the asterisk are things that I am predicting. So based on how I've been rolling this year for worldwide download, I would give my predictions a little bit more credit because somehow I'm actually cooking right now. I pretty much called the entire banner minus the banner unit right here, Glossu, and then also the Goku Black Rose and Vegito Blue. Typings were a little bit off, yes, I will admit, but I did get the dual Dokkan Festival right, accidentally. I got the AGL Vegito Blue, so, I mean, you know, normally, Toon is wrong 100% of the time, but I don't know what's happening this year. Something's changed. Something's changed. So, what I say seems to happen in the weirdest way. So, that being said, last year, August 25th, 5 p.m. PDT is when the worldwide download started in 2022. This year, August 24th, 5 p.m. PDT. SNS Part 1, August 25th, 11 p.m. PDT, so 6 hours after Worldwide started. This year, August 24th, 11 p.m. PDT, 6 hours after this one started. The banners, this is just here to be thorough. August 27th, 10 p.m. This didn't really line up with this year, but at the same time, both were unexpected. Actually, you could argue this was about 45 minutes before, and this is about 45 minutes afterwards. So, I mean, there is kind of some parallel there. There is some symmetry. And then if we go to Part 2, we don't know for global yet when Part 2 is going to be, but we do know the SNS Part 3, as I discussed. September 7th at 11 p.m. PDT is when Part 3 for the SNS post is going to start. So that means, I would say with 99.9999% certainty, this is when Part 2 is going to be starting. September 7th at 11 p.m. PDT. I am posting this video on September 2nd, so that basically gives us 5 days. In about 5 days, we should be starting Part 2. Now, this is not a guarantee. There is a chance that they could potentially start Part 2 a day earlier, maybe a day later, as long as it's, I think, within 24 hours of the SNS Part 3 date. That's probably like the most conclusive window we could possibly give, but I don't see any reason for them to deviate from just matching it. So I really think it's going to be this September 7th. Now, some of you might be wondering, Toon, does this mean that the banner will be dropping September 7th? It absolutely will not. That is not how it played out last year, and that will not be how it plays out this year. Last year, September 8th, 11 p.m. PDT is when Part 2 started, but the banner, the Dokkan Festival Carnival banner, dropped a week later, 6 days afterwards, 9/14 at 9 p.m. So with that said, this year, we should see something similar. So it was a 6-day difference, September 8th until September 14th, 9 p.m. last year. So that means this year, we will probably get the Part 2 double Carnival banners around September 13th at 9 p.m. PDT-ish. Doesn't have to be specifically that, but around there. So those are my two predictions for those of you who might be curious about Part 2 and the Part 2 banner. In relation to right now, the Part 2 banner would be dropping about 11 days from now, as opposed to Part 2 starting, which is about 5 days from now. So still going to be a bit of a wait. So you guys are going to have to keep yourselves occupied with more, I don't know, challenge event runs. There's so many like end game content event levels now that you can pretty much run Zamasu, Goku, Vegeta, whoever you want on so many different events. That should keep people busy. The only thing that I will once again assert is that I hate the fact that Red Zone is limited. That's so stupid and annoying. But besides that, I think people will keep pretty busy. Also, I do have more dates here. We'll talk about these as we approach it. But September 21st, 11 p.m. PDT is when I predict Part 3 will start, because don't forget, that is 1 week after Part 2's banner actually drops. Remember, Part 2 is going to be about 2 weeks. If the banner drops halfway through it, that means there's only 1 week left. So then going into Part 3, you'll still kind of be fresh off of your Part 2 summons, and then whatever we have left over in Part 3, like an EZA, whatever wrap-up events we have, that will take us into the end of the worldwide download, which would be October 4th at 5 p.m. PDT. Now, one more thing that I want to point out here is on September 7th, which is when Part 2 actually started, that is when, actually, hold on. Last year, Global and JP's Part 2 started September 8th. So about a day and a half before that, Dokkan JP dropped a video where they started going over all of the details for Part 2. Global didn't end up getting anything like this. We ended up getting like a Twitter teaser or something like that. We got something like this. No, where it's a funny image right here. We got this. So we got the LR animation, or the LR illustration preview for the 2 upcoming LRs. And then we also got this little like teaser for the upcoming active skill or something. So something like this could also happen a day before the worldwide download Part 2. So if we were predicting this is to be the start, then around September 6th, maybe 4 days from now, we could start to see some news regarding the upcoming new units. I will be doing a separate video talking about my predictions for the upcoming content, the upcoming banners. Let me once again point out that I was kind of on the money when it comes to this, minus the typing. I made some predictions early on about the Carnival. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I'm just going to throw that out there. So Toon might be a prophet during Worldwide Download 2023. I don't know. So something's wrong with the universe if that's the case. Anyway, 5 days from now is your answer. Hopefully that can hold you guys over. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below. Put in the comments your thoughts on the Worldwide Download celebrations pacing overall. Have you guys been pleased with the pacing? Do you like that the content's been dropping every couple of days? What are your thoughts on this final block of 5 days between now and the end of Worldwide Download Part 1? Will you have enough things to do to keep you guys occupied in the meantime? Let me know your thoughts about predicting Part 2, Part 3, the dates overall, all of it in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more content in the future and click the notification bell so that you'll know you want to see more of my stuff. Do it! Thanks again. Stay tuned and remember to Dokkan responsibly.